Ladies and gentlemen, every feeling you experience is not just an internal reaction. It is a broadcast, an invisible signal that you are transmitting into the world around you. You may not see it, you may not hear it, but it is as real as a radio frequency. The truth is, you are constantly radiating a vibration that matches the emotions you hold most consistently. When you feel joy, gratitude, excitement, or love, you're sending out high frequency waves that attract more of those experiences back to you. When you dwell in anger, doubt, fear, or resentment, you're radiating a lower frequency, and the law that governs the universe matches you with people, circumstances, and situations that correspond to that energy. It is not a matter of luck or chance, it is a matter of alignment. Most people never make the connection between the emotional state they live in and the experiences that keep showing up in their lives. They think life is happening to them randomly. They say, I just woke up in a bad mood, without realizing that mood becomes a magnet. They say, this always happens to me, without recognizing that by focusing on that expectation, they are pulling the same scenario toward themselves again and again. Feelings are not harmless little bursts of emotion. They are the architects of your reality. Every thought you dwell upon generates a feeling, and every feeling broadcasts a frequency that the universe hears loud and clear. Think about a time when you walked into a room and instantly felt tension even before anyone spoke a word. Or a time when you met someone and their energy felt warm, light, and uplifting, making you feel good without them saying anything. That is the power of frequency in action. You didn't need to see their thoughts, you felt their vibration. Now understand this, if you can feel others' energy without them speaking, others can feel yours, and so can the circumstances that are forming in your life. You are influencing your future every single moment through the vibration you are sending out right now. When you allow negative feelings to dominate your inner state, you are essentially tuning yourself to a channel that plays the same type of negativity over and over again. It's like setting your radio to a station that only broadcasts sad, heavy music. No matter how much you wish to hear something uplifting, you can't hear it until you change the dial. That's how life responds to you. You can't receive the blessings, opportunities, or breakthroughs you long for while you are tuned to a frequency of fear, doubt, or bitterness. The signal you're sending out does not match the signal of the life you want, so there's no connection. This is why managing your emotional state is not just positive thinking or a motivational slogan. It's spiritual physics. It's universal law. Every time you choose to shift your feelings, you shift your frequency, and when you shift your frequency, you alter the future that is rushing towards you. The next phone call you get, the next person you meet, the next chance that opens up, it all changes the moment your vibration changes. Now, here's the part most people miss. Feelings are a choice, not an accident. You might say, but I can't help how I feel. It just happens. That's not true. You may not be able to control the first emotional reaction to something, but you can absolutely choose whether to feed it or replace it. If you feel irritation rising, you can decide to breathe, to focus on something that makes you feel grateful, to recall a victory from your past, to listen to music that elevates you, to walk outside and connect with nature. These are all frequency shifters. And every time you use them, you reclaim your power from the automatic reactions that used to run your life. You must understand that emotions are not just private sensations locked inside your mind. They are creative forces shaping the very fabric of your reality. Picture your feelings like colored light shining through the lens of your life. If the light is clouded with the dark tones of fear, jealousy, or anger, everything you see will be tinted by that shade. But when you illuminate your inner state with the bright colors of confidence, appreciation, and joy, the entire world takes on a different appearance. You will notice opportunities you once overlooked. You will find solutions that seemed hidden. People will respond to you differently because your energy has changed, and energy always precedes outcome. It's also important to recognize that emotions have momentum. The longer you stay in a certain feeling, the more powerful its vibration becomes, and the more it begins to influence the outer world. This is why a small frustration in the morning, if left unchecked, can lead to a day filled with mishaps and misunderstandings. But the opposite is equally true. One intentional act of shifting into a higher frequency can set off a chain reaction of positive events. You can use this to your advantage. Train yourself to notice the very first signs of negativity in your body, tension in your shoulders, heaviness in your chest, tightness in your jaw, and immediately interrupt it. The faster you change the signal, the less power that negative momentum has over your life. Your feelings are the currency with which you purchase your experiences. Every moment, you are spending them on a future outcome. You can spend fear and buy more fear, or you can spend joy and buy more joy. You can invest in gratitude and watch it multiply, or you can invest in resentment and watch it grow. The choice is always yours. And the power to choose is present in every breath you take. What you send out comes back to you, not as punishment or reward. but as a mirror of your inner state. The universe is impartial. It doesn't decide what you deserve. It simply responds to the vibration you offer. That means you hold the key at all times. You are the broadcaster, the transmitter, and the receiver. The signal you send is the life you live. There are moments in life that seem ordinary on the surface, yet carry within them the power to redirect the entire course of your destiny. Saturday night in this message is not about a specific day on the calendar. It is a symbol, a metaphor for the moment when a shift can happen. For some, it may literally be a Saturday night, sitting alone in a quiet room, thinking about where life has been heading. For others, it might be a Tuesday morning or a Thursday afternoon. The point is, there comes a moment when the decision you make in that instant creates a ripple effect that can be felt for years to come. That moment is your Saturday night. Many people underestimate the weight of a single choice because they assume change must be gradual and slow. But history, both personal and collective, shows that breakthroughs often happen in an instant. One decision to stop tolerating mediocrity. One decision to break away from toxic patterns. One decision to forgive someone who has been holding space in your mind for too long. One decision to step toward a dream you've been postponing. In that instant, the energy shifts. The momentum changes. A new chapter begins before you even see the first page. Saturday night represents the space between the old and the new. The threshold where you stand with one foot in what has been and one foot in what could be. Most people hesitate there, afraid of stepping forward because the future is unknown. But what they forget is that the unknown is also where all possibilities lie. You cannot find a new destiny by staying on the same familiar road. You must be willing to take the turn that feels both exciting and terrifying. That turn is often disguised as a small choice, something so subtle you could easily overlook it. Sometimes the shift begins when you simply refuse to repeat an old cycle. Maybe you've always spent your Saturday nights numbing yourself, scrolling endlessly, watching meaningless distractions, surrounding yourself with people who drain your energy instead of lifting it. The moment you say, "Not this time," you are sending a message to your own subconscious mind and to the universe itself. I am no longer available for what diminishes me. That decision, though it may feel small, changes the frequency you are operating on. And as your frequency changes, the events, people, and circumstances that match the old energy begin to fall away, making space for new opportunities that align with your higher self. Every great transformation begins with a defining moment of awareness. Maybe it's a quiet realization as you sit in silence. Maybe it's an unexpected wave of emotion that makes you realize you can't keep living the same way. It might happen when you hear a sentence, a lyric, or a single piece of advice that hits you so deeply, it feels like it was spoken directly to you. That's the spark. That's your Saturday night calling you to choose a new direction. The power in this moment comes from your willingness to act on that awareness immediately before the old habits pull you back into their familiar grip. You see, your life is not changed by what you know. It's changed by what you do with what you know in the exact moment you know it. If you wait for the right time, the moment will pass. The energy of decision is strongest in the instant of realization. When that nudge comes, when that thought says, "This is it, something has to change," you must act, even if the action is small. Call someone who can help you. Write down your decision in a journal. Take a step toward the goal you've been avoiding. Remove yourself from the environment that feeds your negative feelings. Small actions, when taken in the energy of a defining decision, carry massive force. The beauty of the Saturday night moment is that it doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care how many times you've failed, how long you've been stuck, or how many mistakes you've made. It meets you exactly where you are and gives you a choice to stay in the old story or step into the new one. This is why such moments are sacred. They are doorways. Once you walk through, life will never be the same. But you must also understand that not everyone recognizes their Saturday night when it comes. Some people let it pass because it doesn't arrive with fireworks or dramatic signs. It may come in the form of a quiet evening where you feel unusually reflective. It may come as a sudden burst of clarity after weeks of confusion. It may come in the stillness after a storm in your life, when you finally have space to breathe. You have to be awake enough to notice it. And once you notice it, you have to be courageous enough to say yes to it. There's an invisible alignment that happens when you make a decision in such a moment. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions begin to line up with the new vision you've chosen even before the physical results show up. You start seeing different opportunities. You start feeling different emotions. You begin to speak differently about yourself and your future. And in ways that often seem almost miraculous, life rearranges itself to match your new direction. This is the hidden magic of decisive moments. They send a signal that you are ready, and the universe responds accordingly. Your Saturday night is not something you wait for. It's something you create by choosing awareness, by listening for that whisper that says, There's more to your life than the path you've been walking, and by having the courage to make a decision that breaks the cycle. The decision may feel small, but its impact is limitless, because one choice made in alignment with your higher self can redirect your destiny forever. The words you speak are not just sounds that disappear into the air. They are commands sent out to the unseen forces that shape your reality. Every time you open your mouth, you are giving instructions to your own subconscious mind and to the energy that surrounds you. Most people do not realize the weight their words carry because they have been speaking without awareness for years, repeating phrases that keep them trapped in the very situations they wish to escape. If you understood the true creative power of your words, you would never speak carelessly again. When you speak in moments of strong emotion, you are programming your future with even greater intensity. Emotional energy acts like an amplifier, sending your words out with far more power than when you speak casually. Think about it. When you are deeply frustrated and you say, "Nothing ever works out for me," you're not just expressing a feeling, you are issuing a directive that your subconscious will work to fulfill. It will scan your environment, filter your perceptions, and attract experiences that confirm what you said. The same is true when you speak with joy and conviction about what you want. Words like "everything is working in my favor" or "opportunities are coming to me daily" carry a magnetic pull toward the reality you are affirming. This is why you must guard your speech with the same vigilance you would use to protect your most valuable possession. You would never hand over the keys to your home to a stranger with bad intentions, yet many people hand over the keys to their destiny every day by speaking in ways that align with fear, lack, or limitation. Every complaint, every self-criticism, every statement of defeat is an order you're placing for more of the same. And because most people speak from habit, they are continually ordering a future they don't want without even realizing it. Words are seeds and the mind is the soil. Whatever you plant will grow. If you keep planting weeds of doubt, criticism, and negativity, do not be surprised when your life produces a harvest of frustration and struggle. If you want a different crop, you must plant different seeds. This requires deliberate attention to what you say, not only to others, but to yourself in the privacy of your own thoughts. Self-talk is one of the most powerful forces shaping your life because it runs constantly in the background, feeding your beliefs, shaping your emotions, and influencing your decisions. When you catch yourself speaking in a way that contradicts your desired future, stop immediately and replace the statement. If you hear yourself saying, "I can't afford that," replace it with, "How can I make that possible?" If you hear yourself saying, "I'm terrible at this," replace it with, "I'm learning and getting better every day." This is not about pretending reality is something it's not. It's about speaking in a way that opens the door to solutions instead of locking it shut. The words you choose either expand your possibilities or shrink them. It's also important to recognize that what you speak about others is just as significant as what you speak about yourself. When you speak negatively about someone else, you are sending that vibration through your own energy field first, and it will influence your state of being. Speaking blessings, encouragement, and truth uplifts you as much as it uplifts the person you are talking about. You are never separate from the energy you project, so the more your words build, the more you yourself are built up. One of the reasons words are so powerful is because they shape your mental images. When you say, "I am stuck," your mind immediately forms a picture of being trapped, which then creates a feeling of hopelessness, which leads to inaction. But when you say, "I am finding my way through this," your mind pictures movement, progress, and solutions, which shifts your feelings and encourages action. In this way, words are the bridge between thought and reality. They turn invisible ideas into tangible experiences. You have likely experienced how one sentence can change everything. A single encouraging word from someone you respect can lift your spirits for days. A harsh criticism can echo in your mind for years. If words can have that much power when they come from someone else, imagine the impact of the words you speak to yourself daily. You hear your own voice more than anyone else's, which means the way you talk to yourself has the greatest influence on your self-image, your actions, and your future. In moments of emotional intensity, whether joy, anger, excitement, or frustration, you are at a crossroads. Whatever words you release in that moment will be heavily imprinted into your subconscious, and the subconscious does not filter or argue. It simply accepts and acts upon what it is given. This is why you must be especially careful with what you say when you are upset. Venting may feel good in the moment, but if it reinforces a story of powerlessness or defeat, it will only invite more situations that match that story. The shift begins when you become intentional. You start to speak the language of the life you want, even before you see any evidence of it. You declare, "I am worthy of abundance," even if your bank account is empty. You say, "I am healthy and strong," even if your body is still healing. You affirm, Everything is working out for my highest good, even if you can't yet see how. This is not delusion, it is creation. You are choosing to speak in alignment with the reality you are building, not the one you are leaving behind. When you do this consistently, your subconscious begins to accept the new story as truth, and it will direct your thoughts, emotions, and actions to bring that story to life. You will begin to notice synchronicities, seemingly random events that move you closer to your goals. You will feel more confident, more focused, and more energized because your words are no longer draining you. They are fueling you. The world will begin to reflect the language you speak because you are no longer just talking about life. You are commanding it into shape. When your mind is clouded with negativity, fear, or constant noise, it becomes almost impossible to hear the quiet voice of divine guidance. It's not that guidance isn't there. It's you are tuned into a different frequency, one filled with the static of worry, doubt, and endless mental chatter. Imagine trying to hear a whisper in the middle of a crowded, noisy room. The voice is present, but the surrounding noise drowns it out. This is exactly what happens when you live in a state of constant mental clutter. The answers you've been searching for, the clarity you've been praying for, and the reassurance you've been longing for are already within reach, but they can only be accessed in stillness. Stillness is not just the absence of movement. It is the intentional creation of space within your mind and spirit. It's a state where you deliberately pause the rush of thoughts, let go of the need to control every outcome, and allow yourself to be fully present. In that space, something extraordinary happens. You begin to feel connected to a wisdom greater than your own conscious reasoning. You start sensing nudges, impressions, and ideas that seem to come from nowhere, yet resonate deeply as truth. This is the voice of God, the whisper of intuition, the gentle push toward the path meant for you. The challenge is that most people have become addicted to distraction. They fill every moment with noise, social media, television, endless conversations about problems, because silence feels uncomfortable. Yet that very silence is the doorway to the answers they seek. The reason stillness feels uncomfortable at first is because it confronts you with yourself. All the emotions you've been avoiding rise to the surface. All the doubts you've been suppressing become noticeable. But this is the process of cleansing the mind. You cannot clear the static without letting it surface. When you allow yourself to sit in stillness, even for a few minutes each day, you give your mind the chance to settle, like muddy water becoming clear when left undisturbed. In the beginning, your thoughts may still race, but over time, the pace slows, your breathing deepens, your body relaxes, and your awareness sharpens. You begin to notice subtle feelings and impressions you were too busy to perceive before. Often, the guidance you've been waiting for arrives not in the form of a loud announcement, but as a quiet knowing, sudden idea, a peaceful certainty about a choice, or a new way of seeing a problem. This stillness is also where you reconnect with your own power. Negative feelings often make you feel small, powerless, and disconnected from possibility. But in stillness, you remember that you are not alone in navigating life. There is a higher intelligence, a divine order, working alongside you. You begin to feel supported rather than burdened, guided rather than lost. It is in this state that fear loosens its grip because you sense that something greater is holding you, directing you, and providing for you. It is important to understand that stillness doesn't always mean sitting cross-legged in meditation for hours. It can be found in a quiet walk without your phone, in a few minutes of deep breathing before you start your day, in sitting by a window and watching the world without judgment. It can happen in prayer and journaling, or in simply closing your eyes and listening to your own heartbeat. What matters is not the method, but the intention, to quiet the noise long enough to hear what has been trying to reach you all along. In moments of stillness, negative feelings lose much of their power because they are not being fed by your constant attention. When you step back from them, you see them for what they are, temporary emotional states, not permanent truths. You recognize that you are not your fear, you are not your anger, you are not your doubt. You are the awareness observing those feelings, and that awareness is unshakable. This shift in perspective alone can dissolve much of the heaviness you've been carrying, opening the way for new clarity to enter. When you cultivate this practice consistently, you become more sensitive to divine nudges even in the business of daily life. You might feel an inner pull to call someone to take a different route, to pause before making a decision. And when you follow these subtle promptings, you often discover they lead to the exact solutions or breakthroughs you needed. The more you honor these whispers, the more clearly you will hear them. And as you continue, you will notice that moments of guidance no longer feel rare. They become a natural part of your daily experience, guiding you step by step toward the future you're meant to create. Stillness is not weakness. It is strength under control. It's the discipline of withdrawing from the chaos long enough to remember who you are and whose guidance you are under. In the world's eyes, doing nothing may seem like a waste of time, but in truth, Stillness is one of the most productive states you can enter. It aligns your mind with clarity, your heart with peace, and your spirit with direction. From that alignment, your actions become more effective, your decisions more precise, and your path more aligned with the life you were designed to live.